Log 209. My friends, when the descendants of little Lucy from East Africa met up with Neanderthalis in the caves of Mount Carmel, you can imagine the ranting and raving. No speech, but grunts, indicating that this is my pitch and this is where I sleep. It was found that cooperation between the two would fend off wild animals, and the children, after a few generations, would have a common language born out of cooperation. The rose of many colours spread. The rest is history. Until today, in the year 2015, in the month of June, 8 billion persons worldwide, and each cell of our body with a genome indicating our source and progression over millions of years. Sapiens, sapiens, and Neanderthalis are there. And continual conquests and defeats, disputes and storms, migrations and annihilations, a multitude of languages, and the birth of writing, cuneiform, and finally the novel to top it all. Jehovah appears in my hand as my brain wrestles with the pressures my disciples laid upon me, and yet now is resolved. Karyotype 47 is the kiddie in control. How wonderful and beautiful is the understanding. We ask our genome in every cell of our body to settle down, for we have reached our peak with the sword, where any further means our demise. Here are the 3 ears of corn, bent in the wind in the city of Ur. Here is our holy temple, which is still holding on to its beauty, as with plants and animals, and placed on the back of the swan. How beautiful. The swan is proud and dignified, as the whole of mankind can be after 3 million years in the making, and the combination of sapiens sapiens with Neanderthalis. I am the controller and comptroller, saint and director. I hold in the centre the arms of the clock. The second hand goes round fast, from one dimension to another, rotating quarks from one dimension to another. The shorter hand still remains at dimension 9. With plants and animals and the rose of many colours. It still wants to move from one dimension to another, to be received as the vowels within the consonants. The whole is a pantheistic approach to the consummation of the 12 dimensions in the circular formation. My friends, I give you this simple reasoning, upheld by Adler and Jung, causing myself to be controller, comptroller, saint, director, but no sinner. I do not apologize to you, although I feel like saying, I'm sorry, it has to be me. If there has been any disorder or grumbling amongst my disciples, I simply, in retaliation, say, you must recite the 10 Commandments every morning and send Shylock a card every Christmas. My journey of 76 years has not been easy, but every moment of my life at present I feel it was meant to be. I am glad I am in the job. My friends, in peacetime, how splendid are the fighter jets, the military in their uniforms, and the battleships with sailors smartly kitted out. But in war, how tragic. My friends, what you see before you is the royal flush, the ears of corn, the holy temple, the swan, the rose of many colours, Moses and the bulrushes, all in dimension 9. The director in the centre, and the quarks moved by pulse rate, encompassing all the dimensions. A pantheistic approach would be to say that the quarks are the bloodstream in a technical fashion. My friends, you may say, how do I know all this? My friends, I have been dead and come alive 3 times. There is a purpose to my being in every step I make. Having arrived at my place as controller, comptroller, saint, and director. My friends, I ask Israel, Palestine, and Jordan to join together. We shall not fight over borders. We are here as the gods to enter the configurations. We start the peace train from Jerusalem to Ur. Israel, Palestine, and Jordan. This moment was meant to happen. From the sapiens sapiens to Mount Carmel, breeding with Neanderthalis and dispersing throughout the Holy Temple. An interval in ancient Egypt, and Moses bringing forth water from the rock and proclaiming law and order. The dispersion of the Jews who followed the Roman soldiers throughout Europe. The continental and continual wars throughout the world. The Jews returning to Israel, and all countries in the world uniting. Incredible cities all over the Holy Temple the first peace train from Jerusalem to and the building of the ziggurat. My friends, look at this face. What do you see? Don't tell me. I look at it some 10 to 15 times a day. I just can't believe that I am the kiddie. But it has been a united effort of the media and my disciples exploiting me at every level that has brought forth the Adler and Jung and demoted Freud. I did not ask for it, but have enjoyed every moment of this grand adventure to redeem the rose of many colours to its place in the 12 dimensions. My friends, it can't be anything else. These incredible items and to be in my home. Where I can make contact with the whole of the world. My friends, we are the gods, peoples of the world, on this holy temple. I, your controller, comptroller, saint, and director. I bring you the understanding. I call on Bruno and Spinoza, Shylock and Shakespeare. Shylock, do you think you can fund the peace train from Jerusalem to Shylock answers, of course, Alan. But I'm carrying around a lot of pen nibs. Shakespeare, can we keep this stage running for another few years? Shakespeare answers, Alan, this stage is the world itself, or as you call it, the Holy Temple. Shakespeare continues, you have been here, Alan, as the greatest actor and performer, trained, cajoled, humiliated, loved, controller, comptroller, saint and director. Shakespeare continues, you have been placed in so many parts, Alan, that your very presence can produce water from the rock without even touching it. You are my flesh and blood, Alan, and our genome is directly descended from Moses. I say to Shakespeare, as with Bruno and Spinoza, to tell Shylock to keep looking for more pen nibs. I say to the rose of many colours, all peoples of the world, for the sake of the continuation of the Holy Temple and the Swan, lay down the sword. It is imperative. The holding on to the sword means the end of the Holy Temple and this extraordinary episode of living dolls that can actually speak to one another. My friends, we don't want the end of the Swan and the effort it took over 4.5 billion years in the making. It can never be repeated. My friends, look at my face again and look at the Swan. I say to the leaders of all countries and my disciples, you have made me the most extraordinary person alive. The living Swan took 4.5 billion years of trial and error and adaptation. In the same way, you can make peace by leaving out the errors and holding on to youtube.com/Alan Sky 666. How incredible that is. I am made in the image of all 8 billion of you. I play the part of every one of you. I know what's good for you. Start the peace train from Jerusalem to Ur. It was meant to be from the moment of the Big Bang up to Shakespeare, raising and lowering the curtain. Shalom Aleichem. Salam Alaikum. every moment of your lives has positioned me as controller, comptroller, saint, and director. You think I have delusions of grandeur? Well, think again. I now offer no apologies. I say, my blessed children, get the peace train rolling from Jerusalem to earth, and all mankind will be united into one cause. The vowels within the consonants. Jehovah.